All right, this is going to be a quick video. What you see are two toroid blanks. They're T50-6s. Uh, they're mixed. The mixture of the metal to make those toroids coils or forms or blanks, whatever you want to call them, is made in such a way it doesn't expand or contract. Now I need a coil that's set up for to go between 2 megahertz megacycles to 3, and I originally had 2 coils wound in series. Now what's really annoying with setting this up, this is how I wind it. Go look at my tool. The tool's hanging down. I don't want to touch nothing. I finally got it sort of in focus. The yellow color, along with the light or the room or the sun coming through the window, would not allow my camera to really focus. But what I do is I have a piece of wire down through the coil forms or the coil blanks, and it pulls back, and it's tightened in the vise. That's a pan of ice, the top of a pan of ice. And I needed to wind the coil with number 26 wire, just because I don't have a wire the right diameter to do 70 turns on just one coil form. So I'm stacking, because I read about you could stack, but nobody knew anything more than that. It started out in the conference, a person asked, can you stack 2 of them to make a transformer? And they took it that he meant stacking it like this and winding. What the person meant was winding 2 coils that are on toroids and then putting them on top of each other, kind of make a transformer that way. Now I tried that. It does work. There's a tiny little bit of signal that goes from one toroid coil to another, but it's not going to work for a 455 IF. See, I actually did the experiment. I didn't sit in the conference, you know, just spouting stuff that I make up. I'm starting to notice that my neighborhood, the people here make stuff up, and then I'll tell them a story, and 2 weeks later they'll tell me back the same story, and it's like that telephone game where it goes around between people and it becomes a different story. And then when you try to tell them that you were there and you saw the whole thing and you're the one that told them, now they've changed the story to make it more dramatic or anyway. But that's what happened with stacking 2 toroids. Now I don't know what's going to happen. It still uses the same amount of wire length. If you use a single core with thinner wire or this double core, you're going to still need the same amount of wire. But there's twice as much inductance. So I'm going to wind this thing with 35 turns. If anything goes wacky, I'll do a part 2. But that's what they mean by stacking a core. And sometimes you do it for heat. You need to dissipate more heat. So you stack 2 cores, you use less turns, but it's still the same amount of wire. And the cores will run cooler and they won't drift as much. But you know, there's a lot to toroid coils, but there doesn't seem to be a really good article on them in English. Over the years, magazines used to have a guy that would sit down with an engineer and talk to him, and then take notes, and then turn it into regular English, and then they put an article in the magazine explaining it in terms so the average person can understand it. And if you write these companies, if they do answer you back, they're doing one question at a time, and they basically keep hitting you with an ad to buy more coils. And I learned that lesson when you try to ask them a question, and a lot of times there's no one there that can no longer answer the question, because either the person has left and they're just still selling these things, or they're just a distributor for the coil. They don't really have an on-site engineer. And these are the things I run into. But here I'm stacking 2 coils, and hopefully in part 2 I'll explain to you what went wrong. You know, will the top coil moving a little bit cause frequency shift? I don't know. I don't know if I should glue them together. I don't know if wrapping the wire around it is going to hold it secure enough. This is one of those things where you got to actually do the work. And I keep getting these recommendation videos, and like a fool I click on them, and the people don't follow up. They have a video on something that doesn't work, but they still publish it. And when you're looking for an answer, you click on these things that go nowhere. there's no part two. And I have people complain to me that there's no part two. Well, you obviously didn't look hard enough. You click on videos, and you can see mine are done in by date. And you find the second, but you know, they want the part two. They want me to go get the part two for them, or the part one. And that's your job. You know, you're the one looking at videos. I don't get any money for this. So I only care just a certain amount. I think that's it. All right, that's it.